I have come for this purpose." Bai Shuanghui Yizhang shook his head. The young lady does not know either. However, the young lady, I have ventured deep into this dense forest multiple times. Regarding this area, it's considered quite familiar. If you don't mind, young master. The young lady is willing to assist you, young master. Found this genius treasure. Feng nodded and said, "That's how it is. Thank you for your hard work over there." After saying this, Feng Xiao seemed to be casual about it, glanced in the direction of the past. A faint smile appeared on her face. "Yifan, some opportunities, even if it comes to your door. But what if the timing is not right? You can't get it either." Chapter 57, Jizapholian. Yifan was completely unaware, without even realizing it. Lost a harem. Missed an opportunity. He just inexplicably felt himself. It seems like something is missing. But after a thorough investigation, but nothing was discovered. Just consider this an illusion of your own. But if Feng Xiao were here, you can tell. His aura has turned deep red, turned a light red, due to the lack of wind. At the moment Bai Shuanghua was poisoned. Not only did they not take advantage of others' misfortune, instead they bravely came to the rescue. This made Bai Shuanghua developed quite a fondness. All the way here, he always seems intentional, if unintentionally, stealing glances at the wind prince. But when the wind is gentle, when the gaze turned away, he quickly turned his head to the side, as if afraid of being caught. Feng Xiao, however, was beside. The thoughts of a young girl. There isn't much attention. He is wholeheartedly dedicated, referencing the heavenly flower imperial edict, searching for the place where genius treasures are born. As a result, this happened. The two of them have come this far. They hardly spoke at all. Feng Xiao is essentially a straight man, but in his heart, it's not that I have no thoughts about the opposite sex. It's just that his views on marriage are quite conservative. For him, in terms of relationships, a lifetime, a pair of people is enough. As for having a harem and such, he doesn't have that ambition. I'm not interested in that either. So, after making a marriage agreement with Lin Ziorin, he showed no kindness to any person of the opposite sex. He looks just like a stoic, abstinent male deity. But he didn't know. He looks like this. It actually makes it easier to attract women's attention. After walking for a while again, perhaps unable to endure the silence along the way, Bai Shuanghua finally mustered the courage. "Speak to that young master, Feng. I don't know where you come from." Feng Xiao casually said, "I come from the upper domain." The girl must have heard about Shangyu. Bai Shuanghua gasped, unable to help but exclaim, "Young master." It turns out to be a person from the upper realm. No wonder the young master is so charming and handsome. Exceptional demeanor. Speaking of this face, he couldn't help but blush. Feng Xiao just smiled, said, "Miss Bide is overpraising. Actually, people from the upper domain and the lower domain, there isn't much difference. It's just being in different places. People of the upper realm, not more noble than those from the lower realm. There's no need for such formality, miss." Bai Shuanghua let out a sigh. Then there was silence again. Finally mustering up the courage, he said, "The talented fourth wind young master. I suppose there are many close friends who understand you well." As soon as the words left his mouth, Bai Shuanghua felt a bit regretful. He couldn't help it. Silently blaming myself. What kind of problem is this? Everyone can ask. Feng Xiao looked at Bai Shuanghua in confusion. After thinking it over, isn't it difficult? A confidante of beauty. There are indeed some. However, We usually don't contact each other much. They are rare and extraordinary women in the world. Unparalleled beauty, unparalleled elegance, can be with such a woman, form a bond of friendship. It can be considered an honor for Feng. Ever since I crossed over and worshipped at the Grand Commander's temple, Feng Xiao kept running around. During the journey of wandering south and north, the wind is inevitably uncontainable. You will come into contact with many outstanding individuals. There are many outstanding women among them. Her abilities are no less than those of a man. For example, her future mother-in-law, Zhao Yao, the master of Zhao Yao Hall. She is one of the women whom Feng Xiao admires the most. The master of Cold Moon Hall, Leng Lingyu. Feng Xiao has also admired her/him for a long time. Unfortunately, Round Pit sighed. Of course, admiration and respect for Feng Xiao. It does not mix in other emotions. She didn't see it. Outstanding women, just the habit of bringing them into the harem. Bai Shuanghua misunderstood. Her expression suddenly appeared somewhat dejected. After a moment of silence, Bai Shuanghua seemed unwilling to accept it. Usually, she asked again, she doesn't know if the young master has already settled down. Feng Xiao shook his head, rising to power. Bai Shuanghua felt a surge of joy in her heart. But before she could show a smile, then Feng Xiao added, "However, I already have a fiancé. In a few years, when she grows up, it is time for me to settle down and start a family." Having said that, Feng Xiao felt a mix of laughter and tears. In her impression, Lin Zioran is still 7 years ago, that little girl who just turned 8. Anyone who is a normal person, there's nothing we can do for such a small child. What ideas come to mind? So, even if a marriage contract is established. Feng Xiao, I don't have any feelings for Lin Zioran either, especially when making a marriage pact. Lin Zioran is only 12 years old. This makes the wind less. There is a strong sense of incongruity. But speaking of which, Lin Zioran is now 15 years old, right? I don't know about this little girl. What's happening now? Listen to what Zio Royale means. Lin Zioran currently seems to be at Zio Yatang. After returning home, perhaps we should take a look at this little girl. Feng Xiao, deep in thought, but did not notice. A hint of sadness flashed in Bai Shuanghua's eyes. But fortunately, Bai Shuanghua also took it quite lightly. Quickly recover from the loss. She felt, like Feng Xiao, the one who comes from above. It is a great opportunity in itself. If I could have a little less to do with the wind, you might just gain quite a few benefits. Along with the Bai family of Dongjiang City, perhaps they can all soar along with it. Thinking of this face, Bai Shuanghua's face lit up with joy again. Feng Xiao all the way, only focused on searching for genius treasures. I didn't notice at all Bai Shuanghua's thoughts. However, it is estimated that, even if she knows, I won't take it to heart either. After all, this is truly a man of steel. Before long, Feng Xiao followed the instructions from the heavenly inspection, found the genius treasure, specific location. After passing through a dense forest, Feng Xiao suddenly felt enlightened. The next moment I saw a vast lake with rippling azure waves. There are a few people on the lake, with a giant python, fighting to the death. Feng Xiao, trickery. It's all just a trick. But for a genius, it's a treasure. It inevitably attracts spirit beast guardians. The scene before me immediately let the wind go. I guessed what would happen next in the story. It's just this group of people, after a fierce battle with the giant python, devastated with casualties. and the giant python was severely injured. At this moment, child of our spirit, Yi Fan will then appear. Pick the peach directly. Maybe we can do it on the side. Harvest a powerful giant python as a spiritual beast. Heavens above! Damn it all! What do you think of Yi Fan? How much do you really favor me? You just can't help but. On the road ahead of Yi Fan, sprinkle on the gold and wait for him to pick it up. Just as Feng Xiao had guessed. 4 people are fighting with a giant python on the lake. We are currently caught in a bitter struggle. These 4 had already. They discovered the genius treasure in the lake, but they, with their rich experience, immediately noticed there are spirit beasts guarding this place. Decide at the moment when the genius treasure is ripe. Seize this item. Their plan: let's send out a few people first, attracting the attention of the giant python, then by someone with the most concealed skills, is also the most sensitive person. Go steal the genius treasure. After getting what they wanted, the crowd fled in a hurry. They planned quite well. The only thing I didn't expect was the power of this giant python. It exceeded their expectations. Reaction speed. It is far from their imagination. The one sent to steal. Before encountering the genius treasures, it was discovered just in time by the giant python. Then a tail swished away. Human cunning angered the giant python, leading to several people now. Even if I want to give up this genius treasure. The giant python was relentless. In desperation, they had no choice but to send out one person, take away the person who was blown away, the other 2 people. He exerted all his strength to wrestle with the giant python. In the midst of a fierce battle, everyone was covered in scars. Yet the giant python stood firmly on the wind. But the constant dripping from his body, blue blood proof, this giant python. Now it is already at the end of its strength. It seems like both sides are suffering, even a mutual destruction ending. It is unavoidable. Just when everyone thought, this time I'm really going to die here, Feng Xiao has made his move. Indeed, this giant python is very powerful, but it is still far inferior to the fire-eating python, although both are pythons. But the strength differs greatly. Feng has complete confidence. Slay this giant python, and take away the genius treasures. But looking at those 4 people in a state of desperation, Feng Xiao decided, let's find a way to save them first. So, as soon as Feng Xiao arrived, just took away a flower from the center of the lake, the lotus flower shining with golden light. Feng Xiao just plucked the lotus flower. The giant python sensed sharply, after letting out a strange cry. Thus they abandoned those 4 people. Straight to Feng Xiao. Feng Xiao stood in mid-air. The golden crow sword is held in the right hand. He swung his sword quickly, sword energy as dense as raindrops, directly rushed towards the giant python. After enduring a wave of sword-light attacks, the giant python screamed in agony. Open your mouth and let the wind blow. A stream of liquid spurted out. Far away, the wind carried a scent, the heavy, fishy odor from the liquid. It nearly made him fall straight from the sky. Lost the essence. This thing is not a python at all, but a venomous snake. The giant python sprays venom at rapid speed. But the wind dodged even faster. Just a slight move. The venom flew past him. The giant serpent opened its mouth. We must use the same old tricks again. Feng Xiao saw it clearly. At this moment, it is a gray arrow, a golden sword kai, like lightning, flying straight into the mouth of the giant snake. The giant snake let out a wail. The massive body fell into the lake. struggling painfully to get up. Spirit. Feng Shao made a decisive decision, a wave of soaring sword energy, straight for the 7 inches of the giant snake. A clear sound of eating was heard, the giant serpent's massive tongue, struck down by a sword. The foul-smelling venom flew in and out. The lake, once as beautiful as a wet painting, it smells like a stinking ditch. Feng Shao's lips curled into a smile. A lake that smells quite strong. Just like that, it was ruined. What a sin it is! Feng Shao appears and slays the giant serpent. The entire process took less than a minute. Everyone only saw a figure. Suddenly reached out to pluck the lotus in the center of the lake. I see that figure again, after several attempts. Easily resolved it. The giant serpent that plunged them into a bitter struggle. Every one was dumbfounded. Clearly, they simply cannot imagine it. Feng Shaoyuo returned to the ground. Casually from the lotus, scoop out a few lotus seeds. Throw it to the other party. Speaking of this thing, it seems to have healing effects. Hurry up and take it. Every one was once again taken aback. The cultivation world views unclaimed genius treasures. What has always been followed is the principle of whoever grabs it gets to keep it. Unexpectedly, after the young man picked the lotus flower, they actually distributed lotus seeds to them. This made them feel inside. There's an indescribable feeling. And Feng Shao generously. Separate the lotus seeds. Let them treat the wounds. It truly caught them by surprise. They do not know. In fact, it's not just a few lotus seeds. Even if I give them all the lotus seeds, that's fine too. What he cares about the most is not the lotus seeds, but a lotus. Because of this lotus flower, it is the legendary 9 sons of the Buddha lotus. Chapter 58, Qian Bao. Once you have this lotus in hand. Feng Shao understood. This lotus is called Jiuzi Fo Lion, blossoms with 9 petals. Lion Shen Ju Zai. Lotus seeds take 10 years to ripen. Supporting them can heal internal injuries and enhance cultivation, if holding down the petals. A more despicable strand of fortune. The method of quick attainment is profound. It can also help achieve nirvana and purify the Buddha. Zhuzenjia nirvana. Chance of success. But lotus seeds can regenerate. The petals can no longer regenerate. How many petals are there? How many lotus seeds can be produced? Once the petals are all eaten. So, the lotus seeds are completely gone. So, this thing, it should be taken back to plant. Rather than a festival, it's about fish. Although Feng Shao is willing to be generous, distribute the lotus seeds to everyone, but everyone felt a bit embarrassed instead. Accepted. After a discussion between both parties, after you pushed and I let go, final decision. Each of the 4 received a lotus seed, the remaining 5 coins. The return of the wind takes away everything. Feng Shao couldn't refuse any longer, so I simply accepted it. It's probably a habit left over from the past. Feng Shao did not place the 5 lotus seeds, all kept for oneself, but was instead given to those who were there from the beginning to the end. Bai Shuanghuo, who did nothing at all. Bai Shuanghuo was deeply moved, more convinced. Previous thoughts. Indeed, Feng Shao itself is a great opportunity, except for the 9 sons of Buddha lotus. The giant snake was slaughtered on the lake's surface. Neither was Feng Shao spared. A spirit beast of this level, every part of the body is a treasure. So Feng stripped off its skin and dismantled its bones, all meat and skin included. Take everything with you. Not even the snake's brain was spared. Everyone was stunned. In the perception of most monks, after killing the demon beast or spirit beast. Taking the demon core will be the end of it. I've really never seen it before. The entire spirit beast. All the parts of the body. Take it all away. Actually, this can also be considered as Feng Xiao was in the Tai Wai sect, cultivated habits, the hard days of the past, lived more. Even if we became a bit wealthier later on, Feng Xiao is always accustomed to it. Take as much useful stuff as possible. Try not to waste anything valuable, even the flesh of demon beasts. Take it back to the master and uncle master, with junior brothers and sisters. Improve the diet. That's good too. Afterwards, the two parted ways amicably, and Feng Xiao is ready to return to Cangyun Gate. Shortly after they left, our son of Kaiyun, Yi Fan, finally arrived, albeit late. He stared blankly. On the lake surface, the giant snake has already been cut into two segments. Master, you look incredulous. What is going on? The old man sighed. It is clear. The genius treasure hidden here. It has already been taken away. So, who will take away the genius treasure? Is it Wen Shao? The old man did not respond, but Yifan had already guessed the answer. He growled through gritted teeth at Feng Xiao. You clearly have everything. Why is it that even a mere genius treasure? You want to compete with me too? The old man couldn't help but sigh in his heart. You say, you shout every day. The end of youth is poverty. Always pondering. How to kill someone. They didn't come right away. It would be great just to get rid of you. I'll snatch a bit of your genius treasure. Isn't it quite normal? However, the old man did not speak these words. He also knows. Yifan couldn't listen. Yifan plopped down by the lake. The gaze was filled with resentment towards the master. Next, what should we do? Just mentioned. You can go to Dongjiang City. Dongjiang. That's right. The distribution of Yaxing building in Dongjiang City. In addition to selling elixirs, the medicine fragrance tower. Also recruiting senior alchemists. You can try your luck at Yaxing. I will help you. Become a senior alchemist at Yaxing building. No problem at all. After the elder said this, Yifan felt a little better in his heart. Although the old man faced Feng Xiao, bound hand and foot. But Yifan still believes the abilities of one's own master, unreachable, even if I can only cling to him, leading to its abilities, can only exert a little, but applying to Yaxing building, a senior alchemist, that should be enough too. Thinking of this space, Yifan felt revitalized. The gaze sparkled with flames. Don't think you've taken away my opportunity. I just fell into despair. Wait for you. It's mine. You will have to spit it out sooner or later. Yifan secretly dropped a harsh remark before he hurried towards Dongjiang City. However, before he could leave the dense forest, they ran into another group of people. It is indeed the Wind Young Master, the four people saved on the lake earlier. Yifan was unfamiliar with them. Naturally, there was no need to greet. They just exchanged a glance. They went their separate ways, just as Yifan had taken a few steps away. I heard someone talking over there. Master Feng is truly a handsome talent. At first glance, one knows. Absolutely extraordinary. Another person replied, not bad. A person with the grace of Master Si Feng. I have never seen this in my life. Today, young master named Feng came to the rescue. It really is our luck. As soon as I heard the name Feng Gongzi, Yifan immediately perked up. In his impression, except for Feng Xiao, who else can be called the Wind Prince? So these few must have met Feng Xiao. Just hearing them talk about Feng Shao, Yifan said, there is nothing but respect and admiration in the words exchanged. This made Yifan very unhappy. Yifan pretended to be harmless, stepped forward, asking about the young Master Feng you all just mentioned. His real name is Feng Shao. After the four of them exchanged glances, everyone nodded in agreement. Do you know young Master Feng? Yifan wore a broad smile on his face. Not just acquaintance. We are old acquaintances. Upon hearing this, everyone began to treat Yifan with a friendly demeanor. Someone stepped forward and slapped Yifan hard on the shoulder. Shouted, the little brother is truly fortunate. I never expected to compare myself to a remarkable person like Master Feng. May I ask what your name is, little brother? Yifan said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I'm not either. Kang Yumen disciple. Yifan recently dared not use his real name anymore. So he decided to give himself a fake name. Out and about, Kang Yu Gate. It's actually quite useful. Therefore, Yifan said with his mouth, the Kang Yu Gate isn't worth bringing along. But in reality, where is he going now? All still refer to themselves as disciples of Kang Yumen. Kang Yumen is famous far and wide. Upon hearing this, a sense of respect naturally arose. The leader among the four, he cupped his hands and said, it turns out to be the Gao clan of Kang Yu Gate. I've heard so much about you. He said he has long admired you. Of course, it's not referring to Yifan, but refers to Kang Yu Gate. Yifan, although proud in character, but that doesn't mean he is a fool. He is actually quite slick. In the present moment, in just a few words. Just got familiar with everyone. It was almost to the point of shoulder to shoulder. Seeing that the timing is almost right, Yifan casually asked, is that right? You all just mentioned Master Feng. Young Master Feng has saved your lives. What is going on? No one doubted his presence. Everyone was talking at once. Just now what happened? He told Yifan everything in detail. Finally they said, if it weren't for young Master Feng's righteous rescue, we all have died at the hands of that beast. Moreover, young Master Feng generously gave us a few curtains. The character of a remarkable person truly captivates the heart. Yifan Wanyan. Suddenly my eyes lit up. You just said. Feng Xiao shared it. How many curtains do you have? One person nodded and replied, not bad. One of them has already been eaten. 3 more. We are preparing to take it to Dongjiang City to sell it. Change some snacks. Yifan lowered his head. Isn't it true that there is always a way out? The crowd couldn't hear clearly. One person couldn't help but ask, little brother, what did you say? Yifan raised his head, smiled and said, thank you all for your generous gifts. I'll take action later. I will try to be as gentle as possible. The person was taken aback before he could figure it out. Yifan's words meant this. Suddenly, everything in front of me blurred. Then he felt a sharp pain in his chest. He looked down in disbelief, but saw on his chest a deep and sinister blade mark has already emerged. You could only manage to say this word. Fell to the ground without knowing. Died of suffocation. Everyone says. Everyone was taken aback by this turn of events. Everyone was stunned. But it's considered experienced. At that moment, they all picked up their weapons. Surround Yifan at the core. One person gritted their teeth and asked, why did you suddenly resort to murder? Yifan sneered. Who told you to carry what I want? Sorry, everyone. Please hand over the items. Take a break. The other party was furious. Even if I throw things away, I would never give you such a disgraceful person." Yi Fen lightly brushed the black long knife in his hand, said leisurely, "Since that's the case, then you all can just go die." Before the voice could fade away, Yi Fan swung his blade towards the opponent. Yi Fan was able to kill a person before, mainly because of the sneak attack, taking advantage of the other person's unpreparedness. At this moment, both sides have already torn apart their masks. Yi Fan's blade, although fierce and intimidating, but it was easily dodged by the other party. The person took a step back, cried out to the peak of illness, "Kill this scoundrel! Avenge the third brother!" Yi Fan observed the evasion technique of the opponent. I have roughly assessed the other party's realm. Very clear, relying solely on one's own strength. It's absolutely impossible to kill the three of them. Then silently thought in his heart about Master. "Please lend me a helping hand." The old man sighed deeply. To be honest, although the cultivation ring, it is a society where people eat other people, but there are very few of these. A disagreement over a word. Let's just start fighting directly. Even if many people, in agreement, the so-called survival of the fittest, one must still consider face. Otherwise, Yi Fan has no choice but to continue on this journey, easily blaming each other, bullying the weak, using numbers to overwhelm the few. So it is said. Fundamentally speaking, Yi Fan was well aware himself. The cultivation ring does have its rules. It's just the rule. It's just not put on the surface. But when it comes to it, when he is by himself, there is simply none. The idea of following the rules. Every time it comes to this moment, is reason. It's a survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. The path of cultivation. Bento is indifferent to the clouds. This is probably just the characteristics of the child of Kai Yun. There are always more than one set of standards, strictly used to restrict others. Be lenient with yourself. Yi Fan suddenly made his move. Even the old man could not have anticipated either. But at this moment, the old man, even if only considering himself, I can only choose to take action. Help Yi Fan. In the blink of an eye, Yi Fan felt all over. All are filled with endless power. A smile involuntarily appeared on her face. A fierce grin. Everyone on the road to the Yellow Springs. Safe travels. Chapter 59. Yeixing Tower. After a stick of incense. Yi Fan, drenched in blood, put away the long sword, looking at the ground. 4 corpses lying in disarray. Spoke tirelessly. "Just based on you all. You want to challenge me too?" Simply overestimating oneself. Finished speaking. He crouched down. "It begins with 4 corpses. Start scavenging. Before long, 3 curtains are in hand. Looking at my hands. The hard-earned 3 curtains." Yi Fan couldn't help but sigh. "Nan Dao, busy with a lot of work, but only got this tiny bit of good stuff. The heavens are truly unjust." But then he became spirited and invigorated again. Look up at the distance, muttering to oneself, "Wait until I become an alchemist at Yeixing Tower. Let's see who dares to underestimate me." Feng Xiao was invited by Bai Shuanghua. Decided to take a trip to Donjiang City. Donjiang City is within a 1,000-mile radius. The largest city. The population is large. Trade is thriving. It is indeed a great place for trading. Feng Xiao arrived in the lower realm. It's been over a month now. On ordinary days, I was busy searching for a way back to the upper realm, but I didn't really come out to take a look. Just right. Today I received an invitation from Bai Shuanghua. Bai and Zinran responded gladly. Dongjiang City is not nearly as large as Beatty City, but compared to a small upper domain city like Liang City, it's still quite a bit larger, although the spiritual energy in the upper realm is abundant. But as the wind whistle entered Dongjiang City, yet silently realized life of the commoners in the lower realm, it's more popular than the upper domain. To get to the root of the matter, perhaps it is the cultivation of the monks here, far from being as good as the upper domain. Therefore, it rarely appears that kind, the monk who sees commoners as mere ants. Mr. Fenshao and Bai Shuanghua visited the Bai family. Upon learning about Bai Shuanghua, after receiving the righteous rescue from Feng Shao, the Bai family warmly entertained Feng Shao, especially upon learning about Feng Shao. Since becoming a parent, in the hearts of the Bai family, suddenly other thoughts began to emerge. On appearance, Bai Shuanghua in Dongjiang City, she is also a top beauty. There are countless admirers. But Bai Shuanghua had high standards. The young man who has never caught my eye. At this moment, the wind gauge stands proudly. Outstanding character. The Bai family began to make plans. In private, to Bai Shuanghua, proposed plans for marriage alliances. Bai Shuanghua said with a somber expression, "Young Master Feng is not yet married, but he already has a fiancée, such a person as Master Feng, presumably his fiancée. It is also outstanding, daughter, to be acquainted with someone like young Master Feng, and received help from young Master Feng. It is already the will of fortune. As for the matter of marriage, please don't mention it again, Mom and Dad." Hearing Bai Shuanghua say this, his parents couldn't help but feel a bit regretful. But upon further thought, yet they asked again, even though they couldn't become relatives. "But if I could become a disciple of Master Feng, perhaps it's also a beautiful thing." Bai Shuanghua felt a little moved as well, but the expression was somewhat hesitant. "Is this too abrupt?" Bai Shuanghua's father, but he smiled and asked if it was too abrupt. But it didn't matter anymore. If my daughter is fortunate enough to go to Shenyang, achieve a certain accomplishment, what does it matter if it's a bit abrupt? Bai Shuanghua couldn't help but nod. "Then let's do as father wishes." Then, next, Bai Shuanghua's father. At the banquet, Zhang Feng Shao proposed, "Let your daughter the plan to apprentice under Feng Shao. Feng Shao is first a certificate." Then a bewildered expression appeared on his face. "I've been going through a lot lately. Tan, it's almost average. Receiving images at a frequency of one per month. And all the ones I received are beautiful women. Finglingzu may be young, but she will inevitably grow up to be a beautiful woman. But speaking of which, Feng Shao's heart, it's not just a little strange. A practitioner with previous qualifications. Feng Shao has seen quite a few. Both men and women have. These people all have a common trait. That is an exceptionally high aura. Highly qualified male cultivator, the aura has reached a purple hue, even at the golden level. So, the question arises. Feng has encountered male cultivators with exceptional talent. Currently, there are only two people. Still all of it. Son of Kai Yun. He is simply his natural enemy. As for the female monk, it seems they all follow a template of the female protagonist. It is a benefit for the child of vitality. Someone else is taking the female lead. It was collected by the imperial harem, and the wind is gentle with the female lead. It was collected by the disciple. Thinking of this, Feng Shao felt a certain kind of a very absurd feeling. Jian Feng remained silent, lost in thought. Bai Shuanghua's father, I thought the wind was gentle. Doesn't want to accept his own daughter. Hastily said, if Master Feng could take Xuanghua as a disciple, I am willing to serve young Master Feng, offering 100,000 spirit stones. With the assistance of young Master Zhai Feng, I cultivate. Fen Shao snapped back to reality, hastily waved his hand and said, no need to be like this. I just remembered something else. For a moment I was a bit dazed. Please do not take offense. He looked over at Bai Shuanghue. Meet Bai Shuanghue, with an expression full of anticipation. Feng Shao hesitated for a moment. Do you really wish to become my disciple? I am lacking in knowledge and experience. It may not necessarily have the ability to teach you. Bai Shuanghue quickly shook her head. Feng Gongzi has passed 1,000. Young Master Feng is of this age. Thus such cultivation was achieved. I suppose in the upper domain. You must be 1 in 1,000,000. If the young lady could join under Master Feng's door, it is truly a small girl. 3 lifetimes of good fortune. Fan Bongzi. Feng Shao let out a sigh. Since that's the case, then I will accept you. Speaking of which, Bai Shuanghue's talent, although not the best, but it is also a rare and exceptional talent. Bai Shuanghue was overjoyed and thanked her master. Bai Shuanghue called out to her master, these 2 characters. Feng Shao could clearly feel the domain of the heavenly flower is about to be cut and contained. It has increased again, and there seems to be a faint presence, the trend of impending advancement. Additionally, even one's own domain. The color has deepened quite a bit. It seems to be turning red. It seems the previous guesses were not wrong. With the daughter of spirit and rhythm, the atmosphere of confinement that the heavenly flower seeks to trim seems to come from the diminishment of the spirit's child, perhaps a girl with more spirit and charm. It really has its benefits. However, Feng Shao does not plan to establish a harem. So it seems now. It seems that taking on an apprentice has become the best option. In the future, when others see it, all my disciples are beautiful women. Will it cause misunderstandings for others? Will it make some people feel I am a wayward person? After careful consideration, Feng Shao felt that highly likely. So Feng Shao decided, hurry up and take on a capable male disciple, even if it's not for the sake of my own reputation. You also have to consider the reputation of your disciples. After all, a master who only accepts female disciples. It's hard not to feel that it's inappropriate. It's inevitable that it will make people thinking in a negative direction. Next, Bai Shuanghue went directly to the Bai family. Dui Feng Shao performed the apprenticeship ceremony. After drinking at Bai Shuanghue City, respecting teacher's tea after, disciple of the Wind Master, it has transformed from 2 people into 3. At the same time, Yi Fan, who just arrived in Danjiang City, suddenly felt something was off about myself. What is missing again? But he didn't take it to heart, but shook his head. Straight to the Yaxyang building in Danjiang City. Medicine Fragrance Building. It is the largest alchemist organization in the southern region. The lower region is vast. Each area is much larger than the upper domain. So, it is unlikely to happen. A large organization capable of covering the entire lower domain, the Medicine Fragrance Tower, that can cover the entire southern region, in the eyes of many people. It has already become an enormous giant. The old man chose to let Yi Fan come here, make a name for oneself. The main reason lies here. At this moment, it is the Medicine Fragrance Tower, the alchemist every 3 years. Selection competition. This may be a coincidence, but it's more likely a deliberate arrangement of the heavens. As an alchemist, it's not only about knowing how to refine elixirs. You also need to be proficient in distinguishing various medicines and poisons, and its medicinal properties, attribute, main and auxiliary, taboos, etc. The content is quite complex. Without decades of study, it is basically impossible to achieve anything. This point, it is indeed aligned with the current theories of traditional Chinese medicine, quite similar, only the people of this world, research in pharmacology, more inclined towards the technique of Dan Gong found in modern legends. Whether it's alchemy or healing, requirements for the knowledge reserve in pharmacology, they are all extremely high. This became the high threshold for alchemists. Yi Fan rose from humble beginnings. Tan Yun Men. He usually has little opportunity to learn this knowledge. So, among the alchemists preparing for the selection competition, Yi Fan can be considered a novice, but this does not hinder. Yi Fan appeared more confident than anyone else. He walked with an unsteady gait, strutting into the apothecary fragrance building, directly to the owner of Yeixyang Tower, proposed the requirements for participating in the selection competition. After paying the registration fee, Yi Fan received a badge with the words Ding Shiliang written on it. This means he will be in the fourth batch, as the 10th to appear. Perhaps Yi Fan was too confident in his performance. Many people around are participating in the selection competition. They all felt a sense of aversion towards it. However, after all, this is the territory of Yeixyang Building. If they want to make it in the alchemy industry, you can't offend the Yao Zhanglu. Therefore, even if they look down on Yi Fan, the vast majority of people, just standing quietly by the side, waiting for the examiner to call my number. But there are always some people, born as a child of destiny arranged by the heavens, used to show off and slack faces. There is someone whose appearance surpasses Yi Fan, still dragging the young man forward. Gave a disdainful glance at Yi Fan. The cold smile was just right. Kid, you are wearing these tattered clothes. They also came to participate in the alchemist selection competition. Yi Fan shot him a cold glare, asked softly, "Is there any problem?" The young man laughed exaggeratedly. "My goodness, you really came to participate in the alchemist selection competition. You're wearing this outfit. Could it be that they were robbed by bandits on the way? If that's really the case, then the young master showed great kindness. I reward you with a few coins. Hurry and buy a set of clothes suitable for the stage. This is the medicine fragrance building. Not just any beggar can come in here. Yi Fan has been chased for a month straight. Even if there are spare clothes in the storage ring, now there's no turning back. A few hours ago, the clothes on him. There are inevitably some places that have been cut by weapons. It's said to be shabby and worn out. It's all praise for him. It's no wonder they are mocked as a beggar." Yi Fan was filled with rage. Her face was as cold as frost. He said coldly, "Thank you for your kindness, but I advise you, it's better not to meddle." The young man sighed dramatically. This young master rarely does a good deed. Everyone else is looked down upon. I feel really ashamed." Yi Fan remained silent. The young man noticed that Yi Fan was silent. "Just assume the other party is afraid of you." He smiled and patted Yi Fan's shoulder. "Speaking of the little brother, are you really here to participate in the selection competition? I must speak frankly. With your outfit like this, I'm afraid I won't see the examiner. About to be kicked out." He fan impatiently. She shook off the young man's hand, said unhappily, "Even so, what does it have to do with you?" The young man laughed and said, "Little brother, Don't say I look down on you. To the alchemist of the building. Not everyone can participate. You are still so young. Probably hasn't finished reading many key points. Several medical books. Why not go back and study for a few more years? I guess. 20 years later, you are almost there. The threshold for participating in the selection competition has been set. Yifan shot him a disdainful glance, suddenly said, "You say I am not worthy to participate in the selection competition. Since that's the case, then let's make a bet. How are you?" The young man listened. Suddenly arrived. "What bet are you interested in?" "Betting on the outcome of this selection competition. If my rank is higher than yours, then you give me the jade pendant around your neck." The young man's neck, the jade pendant hanging. It's not an ordinary ornament. Through the eyes of the elder, it was obvious at a glance. This jade pendant contains great opportunities. As for what the opportunity truly is, the old man was still uncertain. Only tell Yifan, if there is a chance, I must get this jade pendant. Though the young man wore this jade pendant, but did not know the origin of this jade pendant. Just feel, worn on the body, it has the effect of calming the mind and purifying the spirit. As for value, he didn't feel that it was very high. Therefore, upon hearing this, the young man, he took the jade pendant off his neck, said with a smile, "This jade pendant, it's yours now." "But what if it was you who said it?" "What else can be done?" Yifan said without hesitation. "If I said, I will kneel down in front of everyone, call you grandpa 3 times." The young man listened. Suddenly his eyes brightened. This is so interesting. Under normal circumstances, very few people would. Finding joy in humiliating a stranger. Although the young man is usually arrogant, but there are also some family teachings, not to make things difficult for an ordinary person. But for some reason, when he saw Yifan for the first time, there is a kind of necessity, the impulse to humiliate others. And the bet proposed by Yifan, it is undoubtedly the best way to humiliate. He nodded without hesitation. "It's settled once we get there. It's a deal," Yifan said coldly. At this moment, in the medicine fragrance pavilion, a gong sounded, then a loud voice, shouting for the fragrance tower alchemist. "Selection competition. Officially begin. Please prepare, all candidates. The 60th card is revealed. The outcome of this bet. It is easy to imagine." Yifan passed through 5 checkpoints along the way. Jian Liu Jiang, regardless of identifying medicinal herbs, still clarifying medical principles. Or perhaps it's the combination of medications. Until the end, it's live alchemy. Yifan performed flawlessly throughout, highly praised by many examiners. In the end, it was only natural. Won first place in this selection competition. The examiners of the medicine fragrance building. Everyone congratulated Yifan. Many examiners sincerely expressed the strength displayed by Yifan as far exceeded the level of these examiners. So they believe. Yifan should go to the headquarters of Yao Zhanglu, participating in the alchemist competition. Perhaps there is hope to become a 6th-ranked great pharmacist. As soon as these words were spoken, many people were stunned. Among these examiners, the highest level, it's just a 5th-grade pharmacist. Even at this level, it is also enough to become the lord of many big cities, or a distinguished guest of a large sect. As for the 6th-ranked grand pharmacist, what concept is that? It is said that the highest level of Yaxing Tower, they are just 3 7th-grade pharmacists, a lower-ranked 6th-grade alchemist, The entire medicine aroma pavilion, there are only 9 of them. Can you say, if Yifan can truly become a sixth-rank alchemist, then it will inevitably become. The prominent figures in the entire southern region are in high demand. Thinking of this face, many people began to feel stirred inside. Look at Yifan's outfit. It is clear that the situation is not good. If we can take advantage of this opportunity, better to get along. Perhaps it can be learned from Yifan. Gained quite a few benefits. Even more so, even wanted to directly summon Yifan as a son-in-law, if there were such a person in the family to hold down the fort, in the coming decades, even hundreds of years. Don't worry about the family falling into decline. Under the praise and flattery of the crowd, Yifan felt a bit lightheaded, although on the surface an expression of indifference to both praise and criticism. In my heart, I've already been bubbling with beauty. That he casually mentioned again, being chased by a certain city lord all the way, attracting the attention of the medicine fragrance pavilion examiners. Everyone expressed their anger and indignation. We need to show that city lord a lesson. Some have suggested we must eliminate their entire family. Only then can it be considered avenging Yifan. Watching this scene on stage, Feng Shao couldn't help but shake his head in silence. The wind whistle was also not long ago. I just found out. What selection competition is taking place at Yeixan Tower? Feng Shao listened, thinking back to this moment. I immediately made a decision in my heart. Isn't this just the heavens? Is this an opportunity arranged for Yifan to harvest the contract? Feng Shao hurried over. I never expected it. He arrived a step too late. Didn't see Yifan's show-off and face-slapping process. All I saw was the result of showing off and getting slapped in the face. For such results, the wind whistle is not surprising. But to say, this is Yifan's own level. The wind whistle is filled with disdain. In a fair battle, everyone who cheats. What do you think? He will participate in this kind of competition. Are you relying solely on your own abilities? I can imagine. Truly participating in the competition. It's simply that. The old man in the ring. Kexeo Yefen. Yet it stands proudly among the crowd. It's just light. He really is. Pingben is the winner. Did Yifan resembled the young man from earlier. A bet was proposed before the competition. In fact, that young man's family had a deep scholarly background. Even if I can't reach the old man's level through the selection competition, it's still not a problem. I don't know what happened. He was in the process of the competition. Frequent mistakes, to the extent that even a promotion position, none of them were able to get it. This left him feeling embarrassed. Again, I can't see you, but he didn't think much about it. Just consider it bad luck today. Underperformance. Only then will it lead to this result. In fact, this result is Yifan's actions led to this. However, his methods, quite concealed, so no one noticed. When Yifan took it from the dirt-faced young man's hands, when I took the jade pendant, Feng Shao clearly saw. Yifan had originally been somewhat the subtle charm of pale red. At this moment, it unexpectedly returned to purple layers. Test. Suppress the child of the spirit. What a moment. We can't let our guard down. Just the time for a meal. This kid, unexpectedly, it just lost its essence. All of it has been made up for. However, the higher you hold it. Wait a moment. The harder you fall, the worse it gets. At the Medicine Aroma Pavilion, preparing to award Yifan. The champion prize for this competition is. A voice suddenly shouted, "Wait!" Everyone looked over. A handsome young man with an air of grace appeared, said with a smile, "I suspect there's something wrong with the results of this competition." As soon as these words were spoken, the audience erupted in an uproar. Ifan saw this person. In that moment my eyes widened in disbelief. I can't help but rush forward, tortured in 1,000 ways. He gritted his teeth and said, "Wind whistle, why must you ruin my good deeds?" A judge from the Yangtze Tower. He said with an unhappy expression, "Your Excellency, Ifan can pass the assessment. It relies entirely on one's own abilities. You said this result has issues. Is it possible that they are blaming us?" The fragrance of the medicine shop lingers in the air, in the heart of the wind. Could not help but secretly criticize. Goodness, I've never seen someone take the blame like this. Ifan hasn't said anything yet. You rushed out eagerly. Support Ifan. Is this the effect of the protagonist's halo? But the wind whistled on his face, but smiled without revealing any emotions. Please do not rush, my lord. The result I mentioned has issues. It's not the examiner's fault. It was Ifan who had a problem during the assessment. Ifan, literary style, a sudden jolt in my heart. It's not good. Under the gaze of the crowd, wind whistle expression, stepped forward calmly. I can only say what I know. Ifan had never learned alchemy. I have never learned the key points of medicine either. How can one distinguish medicinal herbs and still refine high-quality samp and elixirs? Ifan forced a calm tone as he spoke. How much can you know about me? I studied on my own in private. Is it not allowed? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present showed a thoughtful expression. Self-taught alchemist. It's not that there isn't, but undoubtedly not the genius of geniuses. Just looking at Yifan's performance just now, perhaps it's also a genius among geniuses. But such characters are too rare. It may take 1,000 years to produce one. At this moment, someone suddenly appeared. This instinctively raised doubts in many people. Feng Xiao smiled softly. "Of course. But considering that you a month ago, fight me fairly. The means used, I have reason to suspect. You are not relying on your own abilities." The match won. Speaking, Feng Xiao casually took out an herb, asking the way, "If you truly have real talent and knowledge, then let's talk about it. What is the name of this herb?" Yifan showed a look of disdain. "Is that all? I thought that too. What difficult questions can you come up with? Isn't this just—" At this point in the story, Yifan suddenly froze. Everyone is waiting for Yifan to answer Feng Xiao's question. Unexpectedly, Yifan actually at this time suddenly stopped. This left many people puzzled. Someone whispered, "Isn't this a plant of Jiangshan mint?" This question is too easy, right? Jiangshan mint. It can be considered a relatively common medicinal herb. Of course, what is referred to here as common, restricted to the alchemist community. For ordinary cultivators, it's still quite difficult to recognize. Usually, a master's degree holder wouldn't recognize it. It's understandable. But what if it's an alchemist? Anyone who has read 1 or 2 pharmacopoeias? There is no way I wouldn't recognize it. But just now, Yifan was full of vigor. At this moment, looking at the Jiangxiang mint. But it's a forehead full of cold sweat. He kept calling out to the old man in his heart. But the old man showed no reaction at all. This is naturally the work of Feng Xiao. Feng Xiao has secretly taken out the 7-span array evil seal, spread the aura of the 7 rotation evil seal throughout the venue. 7 spiral formation evil seal, although it has a suppressive effect on vengeful spirits. But for ordinary people, but will hardly have any impact, even if it's just spreading breath. If not for the deliberate search, it's also impossible to notice, at most. But for the old man, in terms of such a painful existence, this breath, however, was as deadly as poison gas. He had to completely hide within the ring, cut off all contact with the outside world. The old man is no longer there to help him cheat. Yifan immediately showed signs of fear. Seeing Yifan stammer, not even a common herbal name could be uttered. Many people's eyes revealed a look of suspicion. This guy, could it really be cheating? Feng Xiao secretly laughed in his heart. She pretended to sigh dramatically. It seems this issue. It's difficult for Brother Yi. Since that's the case, then let me ask a different question. Speaking, Feng Xiao took out another herbal plant. Many people, upon seeing that herbal medicine, immediately recognized it. This herb, more common than Tianxing mint. Even monks who have not studied the pharmacopoeia, many people can recognize it. But when they looked again at Yifan, but he had even more cold sweat on his face. In addition to anxiety, also carried a hint of anxiety. This time, even the examiner from Yeixing Tower who just supported Yifan, I couldn't help but start doubting Yifan's abilities. After a while, seeing Yifan unable to name the herbs, Feng Xiao sighed. Speaking of this issue, for Brother Yi, it's a bit difficult too. Forget it. Let's just skip the drug identification. Let's discuss pharmacology. Next, regardless of whether Yifan agrees or not. Feng Xiao raised a pharmacological question. This question is very simple. Almost everyone participating in the selection competition. Everyone is on time. I just thought of the answer, but looking at Yifan again, but saw him already drenched in sweat. It turns out to be just one word. It's hard to say it out loud. The wind whistle won't let people pass. Then several questions were raised consecutively. Every question, all can be considered entry level. But regarding these issues, Yifan couldn't answer a single question. Now this, almost everyone has to admit. Yifan indeed has issues. The owner of Yeixing building initiated the challenge. He coldly asked Yifan, "These questions, are you alone? Can't anyone answer?" Yifan's mouth twitched slightly. Insisted defensively, "I didn't sleep well yesterday. Some things are a bit unclear now. You know too, I've been hunted down by someone lately. Can't eat enough, can't sleep well. In this situation, forgetting some things. It makes sense too, doesn't it? Fen Xiao, Yu Yuan Dao. How about it, Brother Yi? Take the elixir that was just refined. To refine it once more in front of so many people. You don't need to refine it into high quality. Just a regular strong one will do. You don't need to refine the third grade. Just a top grade elixir will do. Such a simple request. I believe, Brother Yi, I will definitely be able to satisfy you." Yifan gave a flick of rust. Said displeased, "Either don't practice. To refine, one must refine to the best. Refine the supreme elixir. Are you insulting me?" Feng Xiao was instantly left speechless. That expression seemed to be saying, "How do you know?" Yifan was so enraged that he nearly exploded right on the spot. Do not wait for the wind to whistle. There was an examiner from the medicine fragrance building. He said coldly, "Since that's the case, then please refine a pill. Come forth, third rank Dan pill. Any quality is fine." Yifan shook his head. "I am not feeling well today. I just refined the elixir. A significant amount of true essence has already been consumed. I don't have the energy to refine another one." Feng Xiao smiled and shook his head. This by still being stubborn. Little did they know the current situation. No matter if he puts up a tough front. It's already too late to matter. He could even see clearly, as doubts about Yifan's abilities grew, becoming more and more. Yifan's aura, flying swiftly in purple, changed back to red. And the color continues to fade. There is already a trend toward orange. Just when Yifan was at his wit's end, in a moment of uncertainty, someone suddenly shouted, "Chujiao, the beast has succeeded." Feng Xiao heard this. Suddenly, his expression darkened. At this moment, Shu Keo's achievements are fulfilled. Damn it, can you not handle it? Chapter 61, Decapitation. The sudden arrival of Shu Zhai's achievement. Suddenly, the whole city was thrown into chaos. Yifan seized this moment of chaos. Without hesitation, he slipped away quickly, as Jin Feng Xiao intervened. Yifan has indeed made a name for himself. It is this name that is renowned. It is probably more notorious. Don't mention it at the Medicine Fragrance Pavilion again. Becoming a high-level alchemist. It's already good not to be hunted down by the Yaxiang building. In the chaotic crowd, Yifan endured countless hardships, escaped to a secluded corner. After confirming that no one was following, Yifan sat down on the ground, began to curse loudly. "Your wind whistle. How could you undermine me like this? Severing one's future, like killing parents. I must stand against you to the end." As soon as the voice fell, then a voice softly asked, "Who do you want to be irreconcilable with?" Yifan was so shocked that he jumped up, looking further in the direction from which the sound was coming. But the wind whistle was already at the intersection, looking at herself with a half smile. Enemies meet, fuming with jealousy. In the moment I saw the wind whistle again, Yifan almost lost control of himself, rushed forward to fight with all my might. Finally, his mind hasn't been completely lost. Use all your strength. Held back his impulse. He gritted his teeth and asked Feng Xiao, "Why won't you just let me go?" Feng Xiao sneered at Yifan. "What are you talking about?" "Nonsense. People like you. Even if I let you go. Will you let me go?" Yifan's mouth twitched slightly, as the child of Aura. He has always upheld. Revenge is a must. The principle of having grace, but not necessarily holding it dear. But if others follow the same principle, he felt like he couldn't take it any more. Before Yifan could say anything, Feng Xiao coldly asked Yifan, "In the dense forest, did you kill someone?" Yifan couldn't help but be astonished. "How did you know?" The wind whistled as his eyes narrowed slightly. After returning to Donjiang City, Feng Xiao quickly made a simulation. 6 realms of reincarnation body. One can capture a trace of the Tao's essence. On the path of deduction. Quite talented. This is thanks to the gift of heavenly insight. Greatly favored by the way of heaven. However, considering my villainous identity, the wind whistle didn't matter much anymore. During the simulation process, wind whistle discovery, Yifan seemed to be in the dense forest. Still, an opportunity was gained, and the opportunity should come in threes, on these 2 trees. The first thing that came to Feng Xiao's mind. It is indeed the 3 lotus seeds among the 9 sons of Buddha. So, the wind whistle spoke to the 4 people again, conducted a simulation. These 4 have all come to terms with fate, and the source of destiny should be on Yifan. What happened in the dense forest? It can be easily imagined. The wind whistle was unexpected. The 4 of them still could not escape this slaughter. It is merely the source of the killing. from the original giant serpent should be on Yi Fan. Thinking of this face, Feng Xiao's heart ignited with a fierce fire. Heaven and earth are indifferent. Every creature is a puppy. The life of the son of Keki Yundai is fate. The life of an ordinary person. Isn't it fate? This damn old sky. To give Yi Fan a chance. How can they be so indifferent to the lives of ordinary people? This made Feng Xiao question the way of heaven for the first time. A strong hatred arose. But with the current abilities of Feng Xiao, saying they want to defy the heavens, still struggling to cope, since that's the case, then let's take down a child of Kai Yun first. For the stepping stones on the path of the child of vitality. Release pent-up anger. Yi Fan noticed the killing intent revealed in Feng Xiao's eyes. His expression turned a bit panicked. He quickly shouted inwardly, "Master, save me." The old man let out a silent sigh, just about to appear. But the wind whistled coldly and said, "Senior, I advise you. It's better not to show up. I must take care of this today. This scoundrel who disregards human life. If you dare to stop me, I will suppress you together with him." The old man was unexpectedly surprised. In previous encounters, the wind whistle gave him an air of elegance, the feeling of being open-minded. There is quite a bit of gentlemanly demeanor. This also led the old man to believe unconsciously. Feng Xiao has a good temper, also tender-hearted. Just say a few kind words. There's nothing we can't discuss. But he didn't know. Feng Xiao has a good temperament. It's because he has always been in charge of an entire sect, responsible for managing the livelihoods of hundreds of people. Standing in that position, if you don't have a broad mind, I've long been driven to death by anger, even though most people in the sect. Everyone holds great admiration for Feng Xiao, but it's inevitable that a few will pop up. An arrogant troublemaker. As a manager, one cannot simply suppress rebellious spirits, but rather we need to find a way to ease the situation. Suppression may achieve temporary results, yet can't win people's hearts. But if there is a necessity to kill, Feng Xiao never shows mercy. Yi Fan knew he couldn't escape this sword today. Just grit your teeth. Take out the black long knife. Then it cleaved through the wind with a whistle. Feng Xiao let out a cold laugh, casually took out a handful, a rather ordinary spirit energy long sword. A wave of the hand blocked Yi Fan's knife strike. At the same time, they said, "Yi Fan, even if the heavens favor you, but if one's intentions are not pure, no matter how much favor you have from the heavens, what does it matter? It is important to take action. The lesson of not sacrificing oneself." Yi Fan angrily said, "Stop talking nonsense. The path of cultivation. It has always been a survival of the fittest. Do you dare to say, since you began your cultivation, have they ever killed innocents indiscriminately? The wind whistle rises to the person I have killed. All are heinous criminals. Never harm the innocent under my command. I say this to you, speaking to others as well, even against the way of heaven. I say the same thing." Feng Xiao spoke with righteous indignation. For a moment, Yi Fan didn't dare to look directly. He immediately became furious out of embarrassment. Holding a black long knife, with all their might they charged towards the wind whistle. However, the wind whistle is casually understated. Completely neutralized Yi Fan's offensive. The wind whistle was like a cat playing with a mouse, teasing Yi Fan. Ming Ming could have many chances. Feng Xiao can directly kill Yi Fan, but the wind whistle just won't kill. Feng Xiao may not deal the final blow, but constantly on Yi Fan, create another wound. Not long after, Yi Fan's already tattered clothes. It was torn apart by the whistling wind, made Yi Fan look like a completely different person, looks more like a beggar now. This infuriated Yi Fan. But there's nothing that can be done. He wished he could shout out loud, "If you have the ability, then kill me. Don't play this cat and mouse game," several times. The words are already on the tip of my tongue. But he forcefully swallowed it back down, because he is very clear. Once the wind whistle really got serious, then he really has no chance anymore. Actually, the reason there is no wind whistle immediately kill Yi Fan, it is because he discovered something, very interesting things. Feng Shao's discovery, during the process of beating Yi Fan, Yi Fan's aura unexpectedly also became more and more awkward alongside Yi Fan, and is being continuously weakened, although the weakening speed is not fast, but one cannot withstand the slow and steady flow. In just a little while, Yi Fan's aura, it has turned from light red, turned into a reddish-orange color, and is turning orange-yellow. Yi Fan certainly wants to kill, but before the kill, why not harvest more of the essence? Yi Fan was furious and exploded with rage. But there is simply no way to escape. He couldn't help but silently shout for his master. "Quick, think of a way. If this continues, we both have to die here." After a moment of silence, the old man responded, "Yi Fan, hang in there a little longer. I will find a way. Open a teleportation portal." Yi Fan agreed, but inside and was lamenting. He can hold on a little longer. Clearly it's the wind whistle. Still haven't had enough fun yet. At this moment, Feng Shao also noticed it. The old man seemed to have a new movement. A cold smile curled at the corner of his mouth. He asked, "What happened, brother Yi?" You used to always say, 30 years on the east bank, 30 years on the west bank. But why do you always run away?" Yi Fan became angry out of shame. Shouted, "If you have the ability, give me 3 years. I will definitely make you fall under my blade." Feng Shao sneered coldly. "Better not wait for 3 years. Let's do it today." Before the words even fell, the wind whistle suddenly echoed through the air. The fierce offensive was unleashed. Yi Fan faced such a fierce attack from Feng Shao. For a moment everything became a bit dazzling. Can only use gestures with all my strength. But not long after, he suddenly felt a chill in his wrist. Then a sharp pain struck. The black knife slipped from his grip. Just at this moment, the old man shouted in Yi Fan's heart to hurry and leave. Meanwhile, a glowing portal appeared behind Yi Fan. Yi Fan could not bear the intense pain in his hand. Without a second thought, Bian stepped boldly into the portal. "Where does the wind whistle in anger?" He swung his sword. A silver sword light chased after Yi Fan, just as the sword light was about to sweep past Yi Fan's waist. A small black shield suddenly appeared at Yi Fan's waist. Only heard a single sound. The black small shield and the silver sword light vanished simultaneously. Yi Fan had completely stepped into the portal. Before the wind whistle could act again, the portal suddenly closed. Yi Fan's figure also disappeared without a trace. Watching the place where the portal disappeared, a soft laugh escaped the wind whistle. He looked down at the ground. Only a right hand was seen. Wu Zai tightly gripped a black long knife, and on the index finger of the right hand there was a ring, the ring of the elder. It was worn on the left hand by Yi Fan, and on the right hand is worn. It is a ring. In other words, wind whistle, this sword, not only was Yi Fan's right hand severed, and took away most of his wealth. Feng Shao picked up the long knife. Once again, the ring. Take it away. although this battle did not kill Yi Fan. But for Feng Shao, yet the harvest was considerable. Severely injured, and Yi Fan, who lost most of his fortune. Inevitably, it will be weakened significantly again. Next, I don't know. This damn old heaven. What other means do you plan to use? Help Yi Fan replenish the lost fortune. But this child of destiny, it's destined not to bounce for much longer. Chapter 62, Huolei Sect. Yi Fan barely escaped with his life. In the midst of a desolate wilderness. Find a cave to rest and heal for a while. Just thinking about this battle, what one has lost. Yi Fan couldn't contain his anger any longer. In addition to the impact of external injuries, Yi Fan continuously coughed up blood. The breath was utterly exhausted. At this moment, Yi Fan, thinking about something in my heart, how to take revenge. But in the old man's heart, but it turned into other thoughts. It's obvious. Now the wind whistles. It has already turned into a murderous intent towards Yi Fan. This time luck is on my side. They managed to escape with their lives. But what about next time? Next time? Can they still have such good luck? Considering Yi Fan's current situation, is there still a possibility of rising? The old man felt pessimistic about this. He is fortunate, the fortunate ones, ever since I became a wandering ghost, fallen from grace. He kept thinking about it, returning to the upper luck, revenge on those who once harmed him. But now, Rishit the body, still a long way off. Yuan Ran returns to the upper realm for revenge. Listen, Yi Fan. The sound of cursing and complaining. In the old man's heart, I have already started making new plans. Perhaps it's time to think it over. The proposal of the wind whistle. Afterwards, Yi Fan had a period of rest and recovery. Finally, I have barely recovered. I just lost my right hand. It reduced his combat effectiveness. But perhaps this. It's also a good thing, because Yi Fan began to realize. Live a low-profile life. I don't know either. Yi Fan felt that I am currently lacking in strength. Still feel that way. One should hide their schemes. In summary, Yi Fan kept a low profile. After a while, no longer firing at people at random, no longer drawing the sword and killing at a whim. And he no longer has a knife. It's a pity. The low-key days didn't last long. The wind whistle found him again. Feng Shao rarely harbors murderous intent towards others, even when encountering Mo Ziu. If it weren't for the enmity of life and death, sometimes it's just a matter of hitting and moving on. It's not worth it to seek revenge, chasing across 1,000 miles. But this time, Feng Shao is determined. I want to kill Yi Fan. And Yi Fan, I don't know either. Is it because they are still favored by the way of heaven? After escaping from the pursuit of the wind whistle several times, as the number of chases increased, Yi Fan also felt clearly, facing the wind alone, increasingly feeling powerless despite having the desire. Every time I escape, it is becoming increasingly forced. If it weren't for having enough trump cards, these recent pursuits, he has almost died several times already. At the apothecary tower, a pursuit order was also issued for Yi Fan. Yi Fan's situation, it adds insult to injury. Yixian Building, as the largest pill organization in the southern region, the influence is extremely wide-reaching. Any cultivator, inevitably, there is a need for medicinal pills. Seeking something, it's inevitable to encounter certain matters. Pandering to the other party. When the bounty from the Yao Zhanglu was issued, countless sects and rogue cultivators, and thus joined, A team pursuing Yi Fan approached. Yeixyang building rarely chases after someone. After all, they are alchemists. This is not about seeking dominance. It was just Yi Fan's cheating behavior. Greatly damaged the reputation of Yeixyang Tower. Many people even started to discuss, in the selection competition for pharmacists at the Medicine Fragrance Building, the feasibility of cheating. In this situation, if the Medicine Fragrance Building doesn't take a stand, the millennia-old reputation of that organization, it could all be ruined in an instant. Although Yeixyang Building cannot tell others, how will they prevent contestants from cheating in the future? But they can. Let everyone know. Consequences of cheating. In other words, since there's no way to fundamentally solve the problem, so they let the contestants eliminate the thought of cheating. The issuance of the bounty. It's a very good option. This bounty order clearly tell everyone. In the future, anyone who dares to cheat in the Yeixyang Tower competition, then you must be prepared to be hunted. Once this assassination order was issued, indeed it has stirred many eager individuals, harbored thoughts of cheating. As for the siege of Shujing in Dongjiang City, it can be considered the way of heaven, to save the son of Kaiyan with a single strike. Perhaps it's because the action was taken too hastily. That time, during the Shujiao siege, it's just for show. In fact, the harm is very limited. The monster only attacked the city once, just left behind thousands of corpses, fled in a panic. This made the Dongjiang city garrison look on. Everyone feels confused. Although monster beasts have limited intelligence, but it doesn't make sense to die for nothing, right? But this group of monstrous beasts gave them a feeling. It's as if they are here to deliver benefits. What kind of siege is this? No one could have imagined. This birthday celebration, it actually appeared because of Yi Fan. Yi Fan can escape along this journey. Several narrow escapes from danger. More or less, there is a hint of the heavenly Tao's intervention. But every time the heavens intervene, Yi Fan's aura weakens slightly. If the wind whistles at this moment, you can see Yi Fan's aura. You will find Yi Fan's aura has already turned into dark green, if not for the body. There's still one last golden finger at my side. I'm afraid his aura will immediately drop to white or even gray. When that time comes, he will also completely lose the identity of the child of Kai Yun. Yi Fan was unaware of this. He only knows his own luck. It seems to be getting worse and worse. After a long escape from prison, Yi Fan was ultimately cornered. A hidden entrance. Looking at Yi Fan, who had already become green aura. The wind whistled softly. Brother Yi, we meet again. This time, you're not thinking of running away, are you? Yi Fan shouted with grief and anger. Fen Shao, why do you repeatedly? You are deliberately making things difficult for me. I'm already in such a miserable state. Why won't you let me go? The wind whistle questions, are you destroying others' energy centers? When severing another's meridians, have you ever thought about it? You should let them go. That's different. Yi Fan roared. They humiliate me. They deserve to die. The wind whistled mockingly. Yes, yes, yes. The mistake is always someone else's. Even if you have to kill or smuggle, you have your reasons. You are never wrong. The wind whistle is also lazy. Let's discuss this issue with Yi Fan again. He directly took out a long sword. Speaking of Yi Fan, it's time to practice the principle of the weak becoming strong. Make your move. I see you this time. Can you still escape from my hands? Yi Fan roared. Turn and run. Maybe he had confidence before. Battle with the wind whistle. But after several encounters, Yi Fan finally understood the strength of the wind whistle, far stronger than him, in the golden finger, under the restraint of the other party. In front of the wind whistle, he didn't have a chance at all, so he had no choice but to flee. The entrance to adversity. It was probably what the way of heaven left for Yi Fan, the last chance to escape. But this time, Feng Xiao didn't want Yi Fan to have a chance to escape. So, as soon as the wind whistle sounded, he unleashed the most powerful Fiao sword technique. A sword kai swung towards Yi Fan. A terrible scream was heard. Yi Fan was unexpectedly struck by this sword aura, cut directly in half. Due to being cut in half, Yi Fan is momentarily alive, writhing in pain on the ground. He pointed at the wind whistle, roared through life and death trials. Feng Xiao, I won't let you go even in death. The wind whistled softly. The people you killed. The same goes for you. Yi Fan rolled on the ground for a while longer, dying in pain. His eyes were wide open, a pair of resentful eyes, staring straight at the sky. It feels like lamenting the injustice of heaven's way. At the moment Yi Fan died, Feng Xiao sensed an almost imperceptible presence, straight to the sky. Feng Xiao knows. That was the last breath of Yi Fan. After Yi Fan's death, Feng Xiao bent down. From Yi Fan's left hand, took off the ring. He said calmly, Senior, I don't know if you have made your decision. After a moment of silence, the old man slowly emerged from the ring. He cupped his hands towards the wind. The Prince of Wind, with a sorrowful expression. The hunter Yi Fan has died at your hands. Please don't hold past grievances against me, Master Feng. Burial of the hunter. I will be forever grateful, although increasingly disappointed in Yi Fan. But the old man ultimately still brought Yi Fan. Treat him as your own disciple. At this moment, Yi Fan died so tragically. The old man felt quite uncomfortable as well. The wind whistle softly nodded, life extinguished like a candle. A trivial matter. The junior can agree to the senior. Just don't know. What are your plans next, senior? The old man sighed. Speaking of Master Feng, at this point, do I have any other choices, old man? Feng Xiao smiled faintly. Indeed, there isn't. Old man, until now, the old man finally realized. It turns out that Feng Xiao also has a dark side. The old man fell silent for a moment. Speaking of the old and feeble Chen Kuei, 300 years ago, originally an elder of the Xuanlei sect in the upper domain, because I support the original descendants of the Holy Sun, successor to the leader, the head disciple Wu Jiu, the strike of a lineage. During a struggle between both sides, the Holy Sun's lineage was utterly defeated. Most of its supporters were executed. The old man narrowly escaped, but the disciples and family members at the door, but was thus implicated, nearly exterminated by Wu Jiu. As for the old man, there's no escape in the chase. Forced to use forbidden methods, to perish together with the pursuer. Feng Xiao heard this. Couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. I didn't expect this old man. It turns out to be the elder of the previous generation from the Xuanlei sect. Xuanlei sect. It is a top-tier sect in the upper domain, although it cannot compare to the 3 sacred sites of the Eastern Jew. But the size is smaller than Teiwei sect. Yet it is many times stronger. Compared to Yunjianj, it's just a narrow margin. As a top-tier sect, the heritage of the Xuanlei sect, it is indeed extraordinary, and among them the most famous. This is the so-called Holy Land of the Xuanlei sect, one of the top 10 states in the eyes of the world. Thunder-level ground. Rumors, the founding master of the Xuanlei sect, It is from the thunder level underground, gained an understanding of the innate thunder technique, and relying on this, founded the Xuanlei sect. This sect, as the name suggests, skilled in controlling thunder. As the technique was being executed, it can faintly emit the sound of wind and thunder. In the midst of battle, it can even borrow the power of the nine heavens' mysterious thunder, severely injure the enemy. However, because Xuanlei sect is located in northern Zhou, so Fengshao and Xuanlei sect, there is not much overlap. But I heard that the Tiangang sword sect of the northern Zhou, the relationship with the Xuanlei sect is not very good. As for the reason, it dates back to the time of Feng Huang and Lei Dai. Legend has it that the Wind Emperor of the Tiangang sword sect, Jai Wuya, Heavenly Thunder sect's Thunder Emperor Fan Zhongqian. Everyone is captivated by the elegance of the water fairy of Emperor Ziking. But in the end, Shuixian Moe, but chose Feng Huang Jai Wuya, but Mo Wai's senior sister Yang Hui. However, they obstructed from within. He promised it to Fan Zhongqian. Afterwards, the toothless Wind Emperor causes chaos at the wedding. He and the Holy Emperor Ziking had dozens of experts. Causing great chaos, Mo Wai in chaos, accidentally killed by Fan Zhongqian. Jai Wuya also went insane because of this. Ultimately perished together with Fan Zhongqian. The Tiangang sword sect, relationship with the Xuanlei sect, this created a rift between them. Many years later, the disciple of the Wind Emperor Su Zhenian has emerged. Once again, a conflict arose with the Xuanlei sect. Xuanlei sect hates Wu Jai, taking deadly action against Su Zhenian, angered the Tiangang sword sect. Both sides thus, and have been caught in a struggle for many years. Once took the entire North State, causing complete chaos. Later, Su Zhenian delves into the Three-Life Tower, calling out to awaken Mo Wai in the cycle of reincarnation, or Mo Wai, with the spirit of the sea and the essence of ice. Journey to the Ziking Holy Land, the battle with Yang Hui, who wields the Kinglian jade blade. In this battle, Yang Hui was killed after failing. Mo Wai then obtained the position of the Holy Master of the Ziking Sacred Land. Later on, under the mediation of Mo Wai, Tiangang sword sect and Xuanlei sect, finally resolving the conflict. It's just the relationship between the two factions. But we can never return to the intimacy we once had. After this chaotic battle, Tiangang sword sect quickly regained their energy, but the Xuanlei sect has never been able to return to its peak period. The gap in strength between both sides is growing larger. Xuanlei Pai, also from the original top sect, gradually falling to the level of a quasi-first-rate sect today. As the saying goes, a dying camel is larger than a horse. The Xuanlei sect may have fallen into decline. Its essence, it's not something that a second-rate sect like Taoist sect can compare to, and can serve as an elder of the Xuanlei sect. They could even participate in the Battle of the Sun. It is evident that the old man possesses remarkable abilities, truly deserving of being the golden finger of the child of Kai Yun. Thinking of this face, Feng Shao smiled and asked, unbeknownst to the senior, "Are you willing to change your residence?" Chapter 63, The Argument, Teiwei Mountain, in the Two Disciples. After Lu Qingyuan and the three others left one after another, Teiwei Mountain fell into a brief calm. It's just this calm. It didn't last too long, due to the departure of Feng Shao, the Grand Master of the Teiwei sect, King Yangzi, deeply questioned by the public. It was probably an attempt to distract everyone's attention. Originally sentenced by King Yangzi, Yi Chen's year of facing the wall, just a month had passed. Thus ended his wall-sitting career. Yi Chen's release from confinement. Suddenly there was a feeling, the feeling of the clouds parting to reveal the bright moon. While walking on the mountain path, that head is about to reach the sky. HMPH. Time will prove it. Who does the future belong to? The consequence of Feng Xiao leaving the sect. This is Mingzhen, Yi Chen's first task after being released from confinement. Returning to the shores of Bay of Fen Lake, the location of the three. However, to Yi Chen's surprise, when he returned to the three, encountered, but it was not the master, and the warm hospitality of the three senior sisters, but rather treated with indifference. He was the first one to meet. It is second senior sister Lai Qinging. Lai Qinging's presence in the trio is not strong. Since I entered the sect after my defeat, just focus on your cultivation. Other matters, almost never cares. In Yi Chen's view, senior sister Lai Qinging, I feel somewhat uneasy about everything, dealing with people and handling situations, also carrying a hint of curiosity. So, Yi Chen has never liked getting along with this senior sister. However, since we have met, it's inappropriate not to greet. Therefore, Yi Chen felt a rush of emotions after seeing Lai Qinging. He waved his hand, a lively and enthusiastic appearance. Second senior sister, I'm back. Lai Qinging didn't even glance at her. He unexpectedly went to the training room. Yi Chen, watching Lai Qinging's departing figure, Yi Chen couldn't help but fall into deep thought. Did I accidentally, today, gained the ability to become invisible? Lai Qinging's indifference. It didn't make Yi Chen think too much. After all, this second senior sister, usually they act indifferent to the situation. Every word and deed. They all have a sense of being invisible. Anyway, Yi Chen doesn't plan to follow this senior sister. Too much contact. Therefore, in the end, she just shrugged, then continued forward. Not long after, Yi Chen arrived at Du Yuanxi's residence. After a month of confinement, as a disciple, nature should be prioritized at the first moment. Pay respects to the master. Yi Chen knocked on Du Yuanxi's door. Then they heard Du Yuanxi's voice coming from inside. Let that familiar voice in. Yi Chen pushed open the door. As soon as it started, he smiled and said to Du Yuanxi, "Master, the disciple has returned." Du Yuanxi sat upright in the main seat. The eyes dart around the walls. After hearing Yi Chen's words, Du Yuanxi's brow, he frowned imperceptibly, but he then faintly murmured in response. Yi Chen waited for a long time, didn't wait for Du Yuanxi's next words. The expression couldn't help but show some confusion. Master. Disciple ends. The confinement has returned. Du Yuanxi sighed again. It seems there is still no intention to speak. Yi Chen was baffled. Just assume the master is in meditation. It's inconvenient to respond further, only to speak of the master. The disciple these days, I think about it every day. You and your senior sisters. Just because I can't go out. So I cannot return to meet master and senior sister. Please forgive me, master. Yi Chen's tone was pitiful. It feels as if a great injustice has been done. Du Yuanxi furrowed his brow again. Asked Yi Chen in a flat tone, "Do you know why you are being confined this time?" Yi Chen curled his lips, said with annoyance, "It's not that Feng Xiao is speaking ill of his disciple. The disciple merely killed a few insignificant people. The wind relentlessly pursued the disciple. If it weren't for this, disciples will not be confined." Du Yuanxi didn't expect. Until this moment, Yi Chen still doesn't think he is wrong. The tone inevitably became somewhat cold. There is not a single mistake. Yi Chen thought for a moment. Feel that I am at best. It's about taking action against the senior sister. It's a bit unreasonable. But ever since I entered the sect, the senior sister took good care of herself. Therefore, Yi Chen felt, even if it's about taking action against the senior sister myself, did not do it right. But with the broad-mindedness of the eldest senior sister, I suppose it won't be taken to heart. Thinking of this, Yi Chen stated confidently, the disciple acted a bit rashly. But we can't blame the disciple entirely, can we? Otherwise, in fact, you can poll the senior sister here. Let's see what the senior sister has to say. Du Yuanxi was extremely angry. A bang on the table. He said, Yi Chen, you not only target your fellow disciples, he also killed 2 innocent people. One of them is from Yunjianj. You actually think you did nothing wrong at all. How dare you ask me to let Huan Baiyun come over? Huan Baiyun